is you guys are the sales leaders of a company that is recently created a new division called the Business Performance Group. The new division is here to offer essentially green building solutions to its existing customers. But the problem with this new implementation, this new change, is that these salespeople at this company are essentially used to selling maybe air conditioners or heating units. They're not necessarily used to doing sort of energy conservation materials, so they're not really including the energy conservation stuff in their sales pitches. So I'm essentially talking to you guys as a consultant, and then you guys are all sort of sales managers. Okay. So, and also the leader came up to me, the leader of the company, and he'd like to learn about essentially the salespeople's view of the building performance group, their knowledge of energy products, and essentially, what we can do or what the leaders can do to make them more comfortable with, the new implementation of the new products.
I'm not really clear on what you're trying to convince us with.
So I'm essentially trying to convince you guys as sales leaders to, that's what I'm sort of going to now, but I want to survey your employees to see what's wrong, essentially, why they aren't following through. So, what can be done? Just like I was talking about earlier, I kind of want to design and implement a survey. Surveying the sales team can sort of help to communicate a few things. One thing is it can tell them that the leaders are very concerned with how they feel, so it communicates the importance of this change. It also can identify the level of resistance. So the survey results can tell us to what extent salespeople are resistant to this change. For example, they might be resistant to offer energy consumption assessments, but they might not be resistant at all to offering better air conditioning units. We also want to identify the reason behind this resistance. So is it because the sales department doesn't have enough training, or is it because they feel like they were shirked by management because they're forced to include these new options? And finally, it also provides sort of the necessary framework for us to move forward. We want to create an action plan. We want to get some change going. We want the salespeople to really fall in line. So that's you guys. You guys need to really get on your feet. That's what we do here. All right, so the survey process has 7 steps. What we're going to be focusing on in this meeting is really designing the survey. But as you can see, we really need to gather support, so we need to get behind our people. We need to, approach your salespeople. We need to sort of champion this survey. We need to communicate the objectives, so why we're doing it, to get people on board, to get support for this new change. Designing the survey, so what we're going to talk about here, we don't have that much time, but we're going to sort of talk about questions that we can put in the survey. You guys have a good sort of viewpoint. You know your salespeople well, so hoping we can come up with some ideas. Administering the survey is the next step. That's really just delivering the survey to your people. You're going to have 2 weeks to complete it. And then finally, reporting and discussing the findings. So we're all going to meet up after the survey and talk about what we found, the opinions of the salespeople, and then finally, we're trying to solve the problem. So we really want to fix this problem that's happening in your department. So here's some proposed questions. Why don't you guys take a look, see if this really gets at, gets at your employees. Do you feel that this is really going to identify the problem that's happening here in your department? The questions are essentially based around, do they feel comfortable with the new change? What are they resistant to? Do they feel that it's integrated? We're thinking that it might be a training issue, so I don't know if you guys we want to know if you guys were really effective at training your people, to implement all these new products.
Where'd you come up with those questions?
Well, we are part of as a consultant, I'm a part of the consortium, so we have a list of standardized questions that we sort of take to adapt, to this situation.
So, but the issues that you focused it on, where did those come from?
So the issues that we focused on are from management. So they came to us with the worries from the first slide that we were talking about, as far as the salespeople maybe not feeling comfortable with the change or not getting online. So they think it might be an issue with training. They think it might be, something that maybe they just don't know enough about building a performance group.
How come they can just come to the managers? And let's talk to us about it.
Right, and that's what I'm doing now. So the problem is we just found out recently that the salespeople weren't including the mandates. When we mandated you guys to include the green products, we just looked at our sales report and found that they indeed really weren't providing what they were supposed to provide to customers, or at least in phone calls or in sales repertoire.
I feel the questions are kind of long though, and that usually surveys are, either yes or no, or you have like 5 things to choose from. I think this will really turn people off and they won't finish the survey because it takes too much time.
So the nice thing about these opening questions are that they're going to actually give us more insight to what the employees feel as the issue. Closing-ended questions are good for maybe determining with a large number of people how they feel about an issue, like maybe satisfaction. But what these questions are going to get at is the exact reasons behind why they might not support the change. So hopefully we'll be able to get some recommendations from this. And that comes essentially directly from the horse's mouth. So let's brainstorm. What do you guys think we could discuss with the salespeople? So far we've essentially addressed their opinions of this new branch, training issues, and then, whether or not they feel it is integrated. So think about what you guys would like to ask. What do you want to know? I'm sensing some resistance.
Well, my employees are just concerned about keeping their jobs. There's no customers out there that want to buy anything, let alone a green product that might be more expensive. They should be out there knocking on doors if the more, customers aren't buying.
So, and hopefully that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to train them enough to tell the customers that this will eventually, or essentially save them money in the long run. By buying these products now, their energy bills go down, up to 20%, I believe, over the course of a year or two.
Are there any kind of tax incentives that they would benefit from by buying these that we can help them sell the customers on?
I believe there are. That's something I haven't thought of. But I think the government does offer tax incentives for green buildings, so yeah. I'd say there are. Okay, so